So today class will discuss about the Windows instances creation in AWS and see how the EC2 Windows instances can be created and how we can access the servers using the credentials. Okay, so it will be very easy, guys. The way we created the Linux server, right? The same way we have to create the Windows server and have to log in, right? So just click on your EC2 service, and then what you have to do, you have to simply the like way you have to click on the launch instance, and then what you have to select the AMI, right? So click on the launch instance. We have the launch instance. Today I'll show you a few more advanced things, okay, on these sites. First, let me create the Windows instance, then we'll move on to a few advanced on the creating the server. While creating the server, how we can install those things, right? After just during the server booting up, right? How we can install softwares and how we can templatize the complete configurations and run it whenever it is required. All this thing we'll try to finish it by today. Okay, so I'll just quickly go ahead. I'll not explain whichever I already have explained you. Okay, so let me give it as Windows server. So select the Windows AMI, right? Windows image. So select it, and here for Windows image, okay, it will have multiple images. You can see here, if you select it here, we have multiple free tier services, free tier images, AMIs. Okay, we have multiple free tier images. Suppose you want for Microsoft Windows Server 2022 base or 2022 core, okay, or this one 2016, 19, whatever you want based on your requirement, you just have to go ahead and select it. Okay, suppose I'll go with the first one, 2022 base model image. And then what you can see, these are the descriptions. Based on this, it is automatically get checked into the 64-bit architecture. Now, the free tier, let it be T2 micro, and the key pair name. So these are the key pairs which are available. Suppose I have one key pair is called demo min key. So let's select it. The similar way you have to create the key pair, whichever we have already created. Okay, so for the network settings, let's edit it. Let's the rest of the things keep it as default. Subnet no default, that means no preference, that means any availability zone, it will be automatically selected by the AWS. So auto assign public IP, yes, and security group, select existing security group or create a security group. Suppose whenever you create a Linux machine, a Linux instance, what happens? It by default, it takes the TCP protocol. By default, it takes SSH protocol having port number 22 firewalled, 22 whitelisted. But if you select for Windows, right, automatically the security group takes the port RDP, remote desktop port, right, remote desktop connections, which the port range is 3389. All right, so let it be there as launch wizard 2, the same name. I'm not going to change anything, and create security group, right? So let's go ahead and here, one more thing you have noticed here, right? You might have noticed automatically it takes 30 GB, but for Linux it takes only 8 GB. Okay, so for Windows it takes 30 GB, default 30 GB. Now let's go ahead. Okay, so advanced details I'll show you in another server creations. For the first time, let's go ahead and work on this Windows server and how we can work on this, right? We selected whatever the things is required. Now let's go ahead, verify the summary, whatever is required, this Windows image, launch instance. Okay. I'll explain more details in the advanced details, right? Next server creation. So let's go ahead and create view all instances. and we'll have our Windows server. Now it is getting ready, right? So just wait for a few seconds. Okay, the server has now started running. So if I select it here, you can see all the details: public IP, private IP, and the DNS name, and the AMI details, everything, right? Key pair, all these details are available. Now, so what I can do here, if I go and get this public IP, so I need to understand first, how do you connect the server, right? So through the public IP. So if you have your Windows machine, then you can directly log in. Just go to your search menu, start button. There in the search, type RDP or RDC, will get remote desktop connection. There you have to give just the public IP, right? So let me just refresh it. I'll show you in this laptop. In Mac also, I have installed one software that is called Microsoft RDP. Okay, so if I just do for my case, I think it is installed. Remote. Okay. So what is this? Microsoft Remote Desktop. This is the applications which I have installed in my MacBook. So through this I can connect. From here, you have to use the application RDP, right? RDC, the inbuilt applications by Windows Server, right? So you have to use that one. So here, let me add a server here, add PC. So the PC name or the host, what it says, host name or IP addresses. So let me copy this IP address here, put it here. Okay. Now what it says, you have to provide the user account. So you have to select add one user account. For your case, you have to provide the user account. Yeah, PC, if just give the IP addresses and the user ID, and then it will ask for the password, right? I'll show you how we can get the user ID and password. Okay. Now let me just add user account, and it will ask for us username, right? Username and the password. So how you'll get this username and password? Remember, for Windows, the username is default username is administrator. Okay, administrator. So how we'll get it and how we'll get the password for that? Simply just select the server which you have created. Okay, now you can see here one button called connect, right? Click on this and you'll see here we have multiple ways to connect the server. So select the RDP client, okay, using the RDP client. And then here we have this username. What is this username? It's called administrator. Let's copy it, put the username as administrator, then password. So what will be the password? So you remember we had created and assigned a key while creating the server, right? So we need that key now to generate the password. Here you can see one button option is called get password. Click on this and we have this key pair name, right? Demo win key, right? This is what was associated with this instance. Now you have to upload this private key which was downloaded initially, right? So upload this private key here. So what I can do, I can just go to my downloads folder, go to my downloads folder here, and so I need certificates file, right? So, okay. What was that? Demo win key, right? Demo win key. Yes, demo win key. But now you can see here, these are the private key. Now we have to decrypt this private key. Click on this. Once you upload, it will automatically get the key here. Now decrypt the password and it will give us the password, right? See, This gives us a big password here. Now just copy this one, go to your, and in your case, you have to just put in your password field, you have to just paste this password here. Okay. Now just friendly name, I can just give this, something like this. Okay. Now add it. Now this one is added. Okay. Now let me connect this server. So the first time it will ask to verify the certificate, right? So we verify the certificate because it's a one server. Let's continue. So now we can see one Windows server has been created. Okay, and we can able to log into this Windows server. We can able to log in to this Windows server. Just wait for a few seconds. Let it be fully initialized and load the libraries and the load runs and all these things, right? Once it is completely booted up, then we can find it out. Good. Now this is my Windows server, Windows 2022, right? You can see my screen, right? So here, whatever you want, you can directly, so network, do you want to allow your PC to be disturbed by other PCs? Let it be there first the time. Yes. Now let's go to the internet, whatever things, because now I got this internet access for this server also, right? Now, what you can do, whatever things you can install you want, you can just go ahead and install it, or you can do whatever things you have to check, you can do the checks also, right? So this is the Windows Explorer or the Edge web browser, you could say. Now let it be just minimize this one and okay, start without your data. I don't want any data to be there. Okay. Continue without this data. Start browsing. Good. See, our browser has come up now. That's okay. That's the very basic things, but I don't want to show this one. But you can see here what we have seen now. It keeps right in your company whenever you are logging through the VPN to a server. You would have seen your host name, instance ID, private IP, public IP details, all this kind of information you'll see in the top right corner, right? Those details you will find in your official laptop also when you try to connect. This is how companies, they create their Windows server virtually and allow users to connect the Windows server and start working. They will have one Windows server and multiple people can connect or log into their Windows machines and work based on their user account setup or partitions they have done. Okay, now, or they might create single server for single usage. Instead of hiring, nowadays, if when this work from home is going on and most of the people are logging to the virtual server from using VPN or VPN connectivity, how they do, they connect to a virtual server and from there they log in. And that virtual server will be specifically assigned to that particular employee or the resource. They can able to log in. Okay, now you can see here, if I just click this folder here, and we'll have like C drive and all these details available here. And we can see how much, what is the amount of the C drive. If I click on this PC, see this local disk C, which is 30 GB, right? Almost 29.9 GB and 14.9 GB free. That means 15 GB is occupied by the operating system, Windows and Windows framework and libraries. All right. That's why it takes, by default, it gives 30 GB of storage, EBS volume, right? So this is how you have to do. Okay. Now, if you want to install anything, search for here, like let's do Google. Okay. Now, So guys, you can see here, I no thanks, no thanks. Let's go and get it. So what I can do, suppose I'll just try to install something like Apache server. Mhm. Welcome to download this Apache server here. So the version of Apache server you want, you can just select and download from this. This table release latest version 2.4.4. And what I can do, you can just go ahead and install the latest versions, whatever you have. Archive module sites, download. Source, I can download this binary, so the files. This is PGP 2.4, so 256. Let's download this one. Zero point transfer. Okay, it's still okay. It's done, I think, right? So let's go to the download folder. We have this download folder here. Okay, it is not fully downloaded, right? It's not fully downloaded. So let it completely downloaded. The server is getting slow. Okay, it's downloaded as it is a jar file, so we can compressed zip folder. So then we have to install the to unzip this tar file. Okay, then we have to install this software and unzip this one and then use the HTTPD server. Okay, now this way you can do it, or if you want to, I was showing about any software, if you want to install it or something, then you can directly go ahead and do it. Okay, so if I just go and install all these softwares, and it will take over lots of time to do. And this is a task for you, just if you want to explore something, as it is free, I would recommend you to install whatever you want, whatever you feel you are comfortable with, try to install those software and see whether it is working or not. You can install, if you're comfortable with the database, you can install the database and just work on that. If you're comfortable with HTTPD server, just install it, download this HTTPD server and just install the index.html. However, we put it in the Linux file, right? Same thing, you can put that index.html in that particular installation folder, and you can see your Windows server also could be act as your Apache server. Okay, you can make that your web server also. This is how you have to work on the Windows machines. Okay.
Do we need to terminate after every day, after every work?
See, that's why better you don't terminate it. What you do, you simply stop that server. You simply stop that server. But the recommended is free tier under 30 GB.
Okay.
Under 30 GB, right? Now, if I see here, let me just explain you more in details. If I go to this EC2 instances here, now I have how many servers available? One is running and the other one is stopped.
Yes.
Okay. So how I'll check what are the volume size these two servers being used. So if I go to my dashboard, you can see here, okay, let me rephrase it. I'll have two volumes, two instances. I'll have two volumes. Even though one is stopped, still the volumes is attached. Still the hard disk is attached. Okay. Now if I go here to the volumes, okay, we'll find 30 GB for Windows machine and 20 GB was created for Linux server. And both are active and in use. See, both are in use. That means all these 50 GB of volumes are in use. That means I have to pay for extra 20 GB. 30 GB is free. The extra 20 GB, whether it is stopped or running, does not matter. You have to pay for that. Okay.
Okay.
That's why I'm telling to terminate. If you're not definitely using that server, then it is better to terminate. And if it crossed more than 30 GB,
Okay.
if it falls below 30 GB, then you stop it. You stop it. Like I have stopped this EC2 instances and I have kept, because if I go this instances, right, I have stopped this instances because it is only 20 GB, right? It will not cost me anything. Okay. Now what we can do, I can just terminate this server. Okay. What I can do, simply go ahead and terminate the server. So you're clear with the Windows server and how we can access and all these things, right?
Sir, do you mind? Can you please explain what do you wanted to do, like Apache installation and all those? Do
Yeah.
you mind tell us,
Okay.
please?
So yeah. So make a note of that. So your task is to home. What you have to do first, you know how to get a Windows server, right? First, you have to create one Windows instance and just try to log in. How I showed you to
After
log in.
installation, after connecting and everything, when we are
Yes.
in terminal.
Yes, after once you connect everything, then you have to just like the way I downloaded the zip file, right? The HTTPD file. So just download the HTTPD server or the Apache server. It's called as Apache or HTTPD server. Once you
Right.
download that server, you have to install the Apache server.
Okay.
Okay. Once you install the Apache server, like that, whatever files, index file or whatever, you have to put that index file into the Apache root directory. So what is the Apache root directory? It will be the htdocs. It will be the, you have to go to the C drive, you'll find the Apache server, HTTPD, and there you have to go inside. There you'll find the htdocs. Inside the htdocs, you'll put the index file.
Okay. And do you have what is a package manager name? What is a package manager name and all those things?
So package manager is not required, right? It is the
Not
normal
required.
way. Yeah, it is the normal way how you install in your Windows laptop. The same thing.
Okay.
Because it is a complete Windows server, right? You have to
Right.
how you work in your Windows laptop, the same way you have to work here also.
Okay.
Once
And your intention is to create a web server or something like that after this?
anything, it's the task whatever I gave to create a web server.
Okay.
But for you, whatever you want, you can do the research. Whatever
Okay.
software you want to install, you install it. Whatever the things
Okay.
you feel is good, but don't install any database or anything because it's only 30 GB of storage, right? If you install more the software which is more in size, then it will slow down the server, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't use more a heavy software to install. So just lightweight software, just install it and see how it works. See, I would have shown you these things, but it will take again the entire day to complete, right? Unnecessary again. So it is a task for you. This will be for you to do practice also, right? If you have
Even
any doubt, then let me know. We'll do the
just we can download the putty also, you can install it, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
The same thing also. What you can do, download the putty.exe. Okay, try to connect the putty. Just open that application. From there, you can connect to the Linux server also. That also you can do that practice, right? Anything. That's why I told you anything. Very lightweight application, software. Just download and do that. That is nothing like you have to do that way. It's something you have to practice it. You have to know, like something is given to you the Windows environment, and it's up to you how you work on that, right? Okay. Now, is it clear, Kumar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I have terminated this particular Windows server. Okay. So let's go ahead and quickly create another server with some advanced details. Okay. So what we'll do here today, let's go ahead and if I refresh this, we have two instances, but one is terminated. But see, as soon as I terminated, the one of the volume has gone now. So we'll have two volumes here displayed, but one volume has gone. See, only one which is in stopped state, but still in use. That is there, the 20 GB one, right? The 20 GB one is still attached, but the Windows Server one, it is deleted. Okay, now how we can protect that also, I'll show you in our advanced section. Okay, now let's go ahead, go to your instances. Okay, so let's click on the launch instance one more time. So this time, let's go with one demo server. Okay. So just wait for the base images to load. I don't understand this Airtel. They are claiming they are giving 5G high speed, but it's too slow. So here, let me select Amazon Linux, okay, and go to Feature. Now, the rest of the things as it is, leave it, T2 Micro. I'm not going to say anything here on this because you're already familiar with this, okay, with it. Now, the network settings, let's go ahead and select existing security, or I'll just go ahead and create security group. Let it be there. Okay, fine. Now it's good. And by default 8 GB. Now let's come to this advanced details. Okay, what is there in advanced details? Let's go and click. So in the advanced details, we'll see here, we had talked about the spot instances, right? So if you want to make this instance the spot instance, if you want to build it, select it, and it will give you the price. Okay, so it will give you the price, whatever the instance price you want to add it. It will give you all this detail, but I don't want to take it. What it says, request spot insert at the spot price, capped at the on-demand price. So I don't need this one. Let's remove it. So, and you can see here DNS host by it is done, and here instance auto recovery, default or disable. Instance auto recovery means in any accident happens or anything terminated or anything deleted, it will be automatically recovered. And shutdown behavior. The shutdown behavior, what you want, whether you shut down the machine, do you want it to stop or terminate? If you want, sometimes what happens if you stop the machine, if you want, your requirement will be to terminate the machine, you can select it or stop it. So let it be stopped. And hibernate behavior, you would have seen in your laptop, Windows machine, the hibernate behavior, the same thing. And here we got the termination protection. Okay, so accidentally not to delete the server, we have to save our machines or virtual machines or instances by using the or enabling the termination protection. So we have to suppose in this instances, I'll show you how to use this termination protections. Okay, use it. So I just enabled it now, right? And stop protection, leave it, detail, leave it, all these things, placement groups and all things. EBS optimized instances, capacity, this is currently disabled. We don't need whatever the tenancy you need. So we are talking about the tenancy, whether you want a dedicated server or you need a like shared server and all this. Okay, all these things you have to select it. Capacity reservation, non-target by ID, all these things is required. Based on your requirement, you have to select it. As you have to pay, if you select for dedicated, you have to pay for that. As we are running free, I'm not going to select anything, right? So here, metadata accessible. What is the metadata, guys? Metadata is something which will give you the details and informations about something, like the server informations. Why the metadata is so useful? Because whenever you want to filter out something, because there will be hundreds of servers there, and if you want to filter out the server based on the name, based on the platform, based on the category and all, then you have to use the metadata sections. Okay, that's why the metadata version, response uplink, all these things are there. And here we have one very useful but still optional user data section is there. So what the user data section does, this is, remember guys, this is called user data or bootstrap script. Remember, user data or bootstrap script. Bootstrap script means a script which will be executed during the booting, during the boot time. Okay, now In our last class, I had shown you how to create the instances and install the softwares, HTTPD, right? The same thing, I'm going to write it here, a script which will do the same installations for me. Okay, I'll quickly write it. Okay, bin bash. So what is this? Sorry, bin bash. Okay, now the bin bash is something is called as the cbang line or the shell interpreter. When you start writing a shell script, you should write this interpreter. Okay, bash interpreter. Now what I need to install a software, right? So what I can do, I can just use yum object. So before one, let me update it, hyphen yes, then yum install httpd. Okay, yum install httpd. Now what I need after installations, I need to start the httpd server. So system ctl start httpd server. Now once the server is started, let me copy the file. Okay, so what I can do, I can just write a statement called echo, and there I can just write very simple statement. Okay, HTML, and I just want this to be put it index.html, and this index.html will be there in the path var. Okay, www/html/. Let me write it down. Okay, then you can tell me, and I'll show you or explain you more if you have any doubts still. Okay. Let me stop it here. The script you'll not understand, but let me just explain you. Okay, so I'll quickly write it down so that center. If there is any error, it will not write to the file. Okay, so be careful when you are executing the script. Okay. Something I wrote it here. Now, so I have to copy these things too. There, right? Okay. Here. Put it here. Got it, right? All these things I have put it here. Now, what happened here? Did you guys understand what I did it here? Or do you want me to explain you?
Explain.
Okay, good. So what we did it here, we simply create a small shell script. You might have seen, right? When I create and connect to the Linux machine, I updated by using the package manager, as it is a yum is a package manager for CentOS and Amazon Linux. I just updated by using yum package manager, updated it, and then I installed the HTTPD, the Apache server. And then after installations, I started the server, and then I wrote a few HTML statements and copied those things, redirected this to a file called index.html into this folder. And this is the default folder of the Apache server. This is the default root folder of the Apache server. All the things, whenever you want to host your applications, it should go under this HTML folder. Okay, now everything is clear, guys.
Sir, what is this one? System CTL stands for.
Okay.
This.
Okay. System CTL is nothing but a system control. That means your the administrative command, Linux command, which will start the HTTPD service, the Apache service, Apache HTTPD service. This will start the HTTPD service. Okay. So you would have seen, right, in yesterday's last class, right? Yesterday's class, I showed you while installing in the Ubuntu machine, the Apache 2 server, I use systemctl to start or to check the status of the service. This is the command systemctl. This is the system admin command, which will start your Apache server. Okay.
And why do you need to write bin bash at the front? Does it influence anything? The top one, bin bash.
Yes, I'll tell you. Why we need this? Because in shell script, right? I think you'll not be familiar with the shell scripting and all in Linux command and Linux coding. In shell scripting programming, shell programming or shell scripting, whenever you write any program, so this is nothing but some code, some program. I have written it in the shell script. Okay, so I am just telling the interpreter. So shell Linux command or Linux shell is this command is an interpreted language. It's not a compiled language. Okay, it's an interpreted language. So I'm just asking the interpreter which kind of interpreter and which kind of language this needs to be executed. I am just in the beginning itself, I am just giving, I want the bash interpreter to be there and execute this particular language.
So if we give some other languages, then it will implement other language. You mean
yes,
to say?
If you want to build, there is not language, then you have to put like
Scripting.
KSH. Yeah, scripting. Suppose for case, bash shell, we have 3 cells in Linux. Okay, as it is a Linux machine, I'm talking about the Linux shell scripting only. Okay, you cannot write any other language here. So shell scripting only. So we can give 3 cells like C cell, con cell, and bash cell. Now, if I give KSH means this particular command will run as kern cell under kern cell. Okay, so whatever you want, you have to put it. Apart from these 3, kern cell, C cell, and bash cell, whatever you want, you have to put it here.
And sir, one more thing, sir, like with this one, advanced setting. You know, what are the minimum things in the organization, in your company, or do you place it?
Okay, the minimum things, whatever I put
advanced, down, bottom,
the minimum things. Okay, in the advanced section, right? Yeah. Okay, these are the things: tenancy, RAM or disk, whatever RAM or disk do you want. Based on your disk size or a memory size you want, you have to select and put it here. Okay, and your capacity reservation, what are the capacity do you want? Okay, none or target by ID or whatever, you have to just or open for any capacity reservations. All you have to select.
What about the auto recovery?
Okay, yeah. So the auto recovery, where it is, 1 second.
The top one.
Yeah. This instance auto recovery, you just click on this info. What it says, instance auto recovery recovers your if instance status checks fails. So if it is fails, it will be automatically recovered. If you want, it's completely based on your requirement and demand, how you want to recover. Normally what happens, we never do automatic recovery. It will impact those other applications or server which are running, right? Sometimes sometimes we do auto recovery. That's why based on the applications, based on your need. You have
the project manager will let us know, like to
yes, exactly.
Specification will be given or no?
Yeah, the specification will be given. The requirement will be given to you. What you have to do, right? The requirement will be shared with you. Okay. So this is what you have to do. So after that, so let's go ahead. So all you think, everything is looks good, right? Let me just go ahead and let me just go ahead and click launch instance here. So it is now creating the security groups, and now launching instances launch initiated now. Okay, now let's go and check here. It will take comparatively a few more seconds because we have given some installations during boot time. So we expect some time delay. Okay, just be tuned with me, okay? Just for a few seconds. Okay, the server has now started running. If I just click on this demo server, we got our public IP, right? We got our public IP. Now, what I showed you the bootstrap script and I put it here, everything. Then what I showed you that this is the script which will be executed during the boot time. That means whatever we have given there, the server would have installed now in this particular time. Now, if I go here, copy this one, okay, and if I go and log into the server, right? If I log into the server, downloads. So what was the key? It was weekdays, right? Yeah, weekdays remove. So it is EC2-user as I created Amazon Linux, right? Yes. Yes. Now I connected to the server. Now let's see whether the Apache server is installed or what is the status of this. Let's do system CTL, system control, status HTTPD. Good. So based on the script or program we wrote in the user data section, it has been executed. Has been executed, and our server is running. Our Apache server, Apache HTTP server is running on the machine we created. So what happened when we created or provisioned? The word provision, remember, we have to tell when we procured or provisioned the machine, that time itself, the particular script executed and the software installed into that. Okay. Now, if I go ahead and quickly go to that folder where we had created our index.html, right? The default folder. What is that? /var/www/html, right? This is the folder, and we can see here our index file has been created also, right? Now let's check what is the content inside this file. Wow, great. This is the content which we had put it there, right? A script. Now, how I'll access this? Now we could see here the server is running and the content also has been created and copied to the root folder of the Apache server. Now, if I want to access this server through web browser, as this is a web server, I can access this web application through the web server also, through the web, right? How will do that? Let's copy the IP address, go here and paste it. As the default port is 80, you can put 80 or else leave it. Hit enter, and it should connect to the server and show you the application. Okay, just wait for a few seconds. Okay, now it takes more time and it may not come. It will get timed out. May I know why? If you are watching the sessions carefully today, and you would have watched yesterday also, right?
No, you need to open the port, sir.
Exactly. You need to open the port. Which port?
80.
80, the port for the protocol HTTP. Okay, so what will happen now? It will get timed out. That means not able to connect to the server because the port is not whitelisted. So I'll go quickly and whitelist this one. Now, how we'll do that? Go to the security tab here, and this is the security group, right? Click on this. And In this inbound sections, we can see here we have port number 22 alone is there. Now we have to add port number 80. Add rules, port number 80, or you can select HTTP here itself, okay? And then select public, right? Now if you see here, it would have, yeah, the site cannot be reached, right? So let's go ahead and save the rules. Now the rules have been saved with port number 22 and 80. All right. Now if I go here and refresh, see, hello, Bootstrap script. So our application is now running. Now everything clear, guys, with respect to the server creations and handling to know, and with respect to user data and Bootstrap script. Definitely you may get questions in the interview if they ask on this, okay? That's one thing. Now, let me quickly go ahead and show you some other advanced thing, how we can templatize the instance launch, how you can create a template and execute that one during the instance build. That is most important, and you have to do in your real-time work also, right? How you have to do that? So we have this server. Now let me go ahead and terminate this server. So what will happen if I terminate this server? Let's go ahead and terminate this server. Terminate. Okay, so what it says, failed to terminate an instance. The instance may not be terminated. Modify the disable API termination instance attribute to try again. So the termination protection was enabled, right? That's why it is not able to delete the server. So how you'll fix it? Simply go to the action, okay? Go to instance settings, and here change termination protection, right? Click on this. Here it is enabled, right? Disable it, untick, then save. So successfully removed termination protections. Got
Can
it?
we enable this termination protection after launching the instance as well?
Yes, we can
After
do that.
launch.
Yeah,
Okay.
after suppose I launch this, and if I want to terminate, if you want to enable it, you can simply go here, go to the instance setting, change termination protection, enable, save it.
Okay.
It will be done. Okay. Now let me delete it. As I have removed the disabled it, I can just go ahead terminate. Now see, it is successfully terminated. This way you have to protect and work on that. Okay. Now let's go ahead and, okay. So while creating and accessing this launch template, right? In launch template, you would have seen here, we have other options also called launch instance from a template. So what is this template? Okay. Now launch instance from a template. So how we'll do that? If I go to this instance section here, we have one called launch template option here, right? On the left-hand side. Click this launch instance template here, launch template, and we'll find, okay, so I have already one template is available, okay? And I don't want to use this template. Let's create a fresh template. I'll show you from scratch. Go ahead, create launch template here. Give a name. So how will give a name? You have to give a name based on the application you are working or project you are working. That should be the project specific. Okay. As we are doing a demo here, for the learning purpose, I can give us demo template. Something like this. Okay. Then the template version. So template version descriptions, I can just give a demo template. Something like this, the word descriptions provided. Okay. And this auto scaling guide and all these things, I'm not giving it now until unless we talk about this auto scaling options later on. Okay. Template tags, the tags we can provide it or you can leave it, it is optional. Source template, if you have already existing template, you want to source the same configurations, you can select it. As I have one finance app template, if you want to source it, you can select it and source it. I don't want to source anything, I want to create it freshly. So leave this one, don't need. And here you have to choose the operating systems like we do, right? What happens here, don't include in launch template or recently launched, whatever you want, whether you want to include in the launch template or not, it's up to you. They're giving an option here. Okay, now let's go to the quick start. And here select Amazon Linux or anything, whatever as per your requirement. I selected prettier. Okay, all these things, instance type. Let's select T2 micro, or they are giving option not to add in the template during launch time, you can add it. But why necessary, we'll do, we can add it here itself. Key pair, I can just give a key pair like with this demo, let it be there. And the subnet and the networking, let's the networking sections be there, and here create a security group, not create, select existing security group. Suppose I'll use the security group as launch Windows wizard 3. Okay, launch wizard 3, and advanced networking stations, let it be there. And the EBS volume, so EBS volume, what it takes, free tier eligible again. Okay, so by default it has taken volume 1 8 GB. Okay, let it be there. Resource tags I don't want to do. And advanced sections, if you want to give the same thing, you can put it there in the user data. You want to put in the user data. Okay, so I have not copied, I think, those details. Unnecessary, I have to write it again. Okay, let it be there then. I'm not going to write it now. Okay, so what I can do here, I can simply install the software. I'll quickly write to install the software. Being yes. So yum object, I can guess. So install. Just to quickly. System.
So this yum is for the package managers.
Yum is the package manager for Amazon Linux. Remember. So what is the package package manager for Ubuntu?
Ubuntu apt.
Yes, apt or apt-get. Okay, apt-get or apt. For Amazon Linux.
You're talking about the Apache as well. Is it the same or?
No. The Apache package manager name for yum is HTTPD. But for apt package manager, it is Apache 2. Remember?
Okay.
Apache 2. So no, don't think that it is the package manager for this particular service. No, it is package manager for all the services. It is the package manager for the Linux itself.
For the Linux itself.
For okay. Linux, it is the package manager. For Amazon Linux, it is the package manager yum. For the Ubuntu Linux, the package manager is apt. Okay. Let's go ahead and create the launch instance now. Sorry, launch template. So I created the template. If I go and check the view template here, I have the template here, right? And the latest version 1, all this template is created. Now I just created the template, but I did not create the instances yet. So if you go ahead in the launch instance, click on this, and now you can just create on the launch instance from template. Click on this. Okay, select, and here you can see we have multiple applications, right? Multiple templates. So let's select this demo template. I don't have to do anything else, right? Simply select the template. So you have to create once, and this launch template can be used many times for many server creations. If you are creating the similar servers for your future requirement, you can simply go and use the template and click on the launch instance. Okay, click on the launch instance. Nothing else. You don't have to do anything. Select the template, click on the launch instance. Okay, And if you have to modify anything, then modify and select it. View launch template now. Here you can see here, the server has come up now, right? The server has.
You can still modify inside if you needed anything.
Yes. If you need anything to modify, you can still modify it.
Okay.
But that's not the use of template. You don't
Yeah.
have to actually, whatever you have to modify in the launch template itself. You have to go again to the launch template and modify that one so that it will create a new version of the template. Okay. This is the real time how in the organizations people work. Okay?
We generally use this launch template in the workplace.
Yes, we do use. So when you use this one, when you have the recurring same server creations, okay, then you have to use it. Or else, because nowadays everything is automated, or everyone is doing automations, right? They are using different tools to automate the infrastructure. They're using Terraform, the DevOps tools to automate the infrastructure. They're not using directly logging into the server and doing. For cloud, if you're doing the cloud things, that is okay, you have to do it. If you're going to learn DevOps again or going to work on DevOps, there are different multiple tools, multiple ways you can automate the things. Okay? Everyone now wants to automate everything. But I'm just showing you from the scratch, from the beginning, how you are, what is the details and how you have to do that. How you can do automations in the console itself. Okay. Now the server has started running. Now, if I just select this one and get the IP address, okay, quickly let me log in. We are running out of time. So SSH-I. Wait, test. So SSH-user. Right. So I connected to the server. If I do systemctl, ctl status, then HTTPD. So it is inactive. It has not started. That's fine. Let me quickly start the server. Sudo start. Okay. It's running. Now, if I do just paste the IP address here, so the Apache server has now started up and running. So this is how you have to work on the template. Okay, let me tell more about this template. Now, if you see here, we have created this server. Okay, we have created this server. Now, if you want to modify the template, what you can do, suppose that is a new requirement comes and you have to modify the server. So what you have to do, instead of going and during the runtime to modify, better you come and modify the template here itself. Okay, so just go here, action, modify template, and when you modify, it will create a new version. Okay, it will create a new version. So what you have to modify, can anybody tell? And why you have to modify, and what you have to modify? How you will decide? Guys, how you decide? See, everything is based on the requirement, right? What are the requirement you receive from your manager or receive for your project? Based on that, if suppose, just give a description, suppose, demo. Suppose instead of T2 micro, your requirement comes to use T2 nano. Suppose, right? Let's create the template. So what will happen? If you select and create the template, it will create another version of the template. So it will have now two versions of template. See, the default version is 1 and the latest version is 2. This particular template, the latest version is 1 and the latest version is 2 and the default version is 1. So when you select, it will show you the default version. It will show you the default version. See, all the details about this version. We have the T2 micro instance type. If I select the version 2, instance type will be changed. And if I use this template to create the instance, when I choose that instance version type 2, then it will create an instance with instance type T2 Nano. Okay, that's all about this launch template, and that is a task for you again. So do go home and whenever you do practice, try to create multiple template and see how it is getting reflected. Okay, when I use this launch template to create an instance, it will create instance of T2 Nano. Okay, so I'm not going to create it. So it's a task for you. Go home and do practice and create an instance having different versions of template. Okay, so do practice now. That's all, guys, for today's class. Most probably we can connect on Monday. Okay.